So
You see, now my sarcasm started to pop up with these idiotic
no,
questions. But anyways,
what year were you born? Mind me asking.
well, for those of you who's going to do math, I know we don't reveal this info. So this is the first 89, and I was at last. This is when the sarcasm comes. Yeah, I am part of the sarcastic millennial because I do get sarcastic pretty easily. I said, "Oh, I mean, really, really," and I think it's interesting to talk about the whole blockbuster. I mean, I clearly remember it. I
Yeah.
was around. But I would have to say definitely the Gen Zers around me remembered it because I kind of shove it down their throats as 3 year
Oh
olds.
yes. Especially when they start
So,
complaining about internet problems and their phones slowing. I'm like, listen, all right, you complaining about how you can't watch a movie? Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, when we were kids and we wanted to watch a movie, we had to drag our parents to take us to a blockbuster to just pick up a few DVDs. It drive them crazy, like please, please, and they finally take you.
oh, and I'll age myself a bit further. Before that, it was video cassette tapes. So let's just add a little extra ageism into this thing. So,
It's
listen,
crazy.
listen.
It's just
But
it's crazy how far we've come, man, in like 30 years. It's not a small
yeah,
period of time. It's like a fraction of time compared to like 150 years ago.
oh no, absolutely. I mean, the VHS days were, yeah. That's what I was raised with, and the computers, of course, when I was infant to grade school age, they were bubble. They were bubble computers. They were huge and bulky and slow,
Had
and the
dial up.
graphics were
Oh,
dull.
it was horrible.
Yeah, oh, dial up. So you cannot have a phone call while you're on the internet.
No.
So appreciate what you have,
Yes.
youngster.
Yes. You need to like listen, when I grew up in Rockland County outside of New York City, and we didn't get broadband internet until about 2007. And we were landlocked. We had only Verizon and AT&T. Like that was the only servers that were like available. And you know, it's interesting by the way, and I feel like you're the right person to talk to about this. We live in a time where there is no longer any more of a gate anymore in regards to our society, no longer in regards to politics, no more in regards to our government. Everything now is transparent. People have smartphones. People can record things. People can take pictures constantly. So the military operations that the government has done, like 9/11 and all of those different things, they can't cover that stuff up anymore. It's just not possible. And it's bizarre to live now in a time where that exists. I think that's just incredible.
Yeah, and that's why a lot more scandals pop up too, because of just simply record, those little hot mics, those interesting takes, which I enjoy hearing. By the way, I'm sometimes petty, especially if I'm like the person. Oh, I knew it, I knew it. Let's use I normally don't. I love to use political example. I'm going to challenge myself. Let's use a pop culture example. Diddy, the stuff
Oh, he was
he's
acquitted.
he's
He's
done.
innocent.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Which I find it preposterous,
It's
but
New York.
that's a hot
It's New
topic.
York.
Yeah.
You pay a judge a good chunk of money, like $15,000. You can get whatever you want. You could murder 17 people, and you give them enough money, and they'll give you a few months in prison, and you'll just go scot free. I'm not trying to be like crazy or anything. This is a real thing. Like there are some states that are like this. You just pay people money, and you just get away with whatever you want.
Yep, justice is for sale. Yeah, and for those people who say that, they're not wrong. Justice is blind when it comes to the morgue. Just give her enough greens to cover her stupid eyes. Here you go. Oh, make a mountain load. Okay, okay, nothing
Kind
happened.
of knew
Yeah, no, I
we kind
agree.
of knew
Yeah, go
this was
ahead.
gonna happen. I mean,
Hmm.
you take no offense, but you take a judge like her and you take a case like Diddy. Of course, she's going to try and get him acquitted. She has a dirty record to begin with. It's like that. That's the amazing thing about the internet is the fact that you have these quote unquote powerful people that they think they're above everything, and we could clearly see him like you're not innocent. You're a disgusting individual that has done a lot of horrendous things, and like so why are you being acquitted? You're still a disgusting individual.
Yep, all I could say is I hope that reputation damage does linger and hopefully is permeated. That's all I can hope for at this point. It's horrendous, but I don't want to talk about pop culture, which will be the big hypocrite because in my podcast I will not really talk about pop culture. I know we talk politics or something of
Mm.
substance. But we can even talk about how the whole even the Trump thing with the convictions and all of that. They do have some differences.
There
Let's
are.
be real, but
No, and it gets very heavy because, for example, for myself, like my dad was
mhm,
an immigrant. My dad came from Morocco in
mhm.
1970. So I do come from, I'm first generation. I come from an immigration home. You know, and I get to be the person where people start asking me questions about immigration. You know, and I'm one of those, I'm like, I can't speak on behalf of other people. I can speak on behalf of myself. I can speak on behalf of, I have classmates that are, live out in South Florida that, they're from Haiti, they're from the Caribbean. They've came over here, either they've worked with their family to get papers and things like that. Like, this country is a place of immigrants, like, we're all immigrants, Italians, blacks, Asians, Hispanic. Like, I just, it's hard because you want to be able to have an incredible future for yourself. You want to give something back to your family, and I think like this is one of the best places to do that for yourself, especially if you're trying to make it on your own and create something for yourself.
I mean, me personally, I have a tough love relationship with America. I love you, but I'm also going to call out on your crap. That's the kind of perspective I have because if you say damnation to America and all that, no, that I'm easily against you. You could be left, right. I don't really care politically. I'm registered independent, so I've been excommunicated from primaries.
I'm a,
For
I'm a
anybody who
libertarian,
people
so we kind of fall into the same, we fall into the same boat.
No, it's funny. Libertarians had such a bad impression of them at first. I was just, oh, what are these kooky people all about? They're trying to be like left and right all together. So what are y'all on? But after I got interviewed with some libertarians, which I'm happy I did, they actually opened my eyes on something. So I can actually get behind some of the things they say. Sometimes they're even more about freedom than even the Republicans, which I gotta call them out
Because
on.
I, like, to your point, I give zero shits about the American government. They can go fuck themselves for all I care. I care more about people. I care about communities. I care about my friends. I care about coworkers. I care about people that I run into that, they own their small business or artists or create. I care about American people. That's the thing that to get out of people's head. Like, obviously, we've got a corrupt system. Like, hands straight up to the air. But we make this country, not them. We are the hard workers. We're the ones that are podcasting. We're the ones that are the artists. We're the ones that are working every single day to give ourselves a future for us and for our communities. Not them. They've done shit for the past 175 years.
Ooh, sounds like quite an anarchist right
A
there.
little
But
anarchist, a little.
I don't. But I don't blame you. No, you're valid. It is valid. I mean, they haven't done much. They haven't done much good. I mean, who use atomic weapons? Actually, the government
Yeah.
did, especially in the Japanese. We could let the Russians fought them off a bit longer. Could drag that out. But no, Harry S. Truman's like, no, I want to end this thing as quick as possible. Boom, boom.
Two.
The government did
Yeah.
that, not the people.
People.
Not but at the same time, but so some people can say, "Oh, but you do elect these people in, so you got to take some accountability as well." I was like, "Yeah, but hey, we don't. But thing is, they're shady. They don't tell you everything. You'll find out some of the dirt when they're in office. And trust me, even back then, people have done this thing. I mean, let's go to. I'm just gonna go history, local. Very good example, like Boss Tweed. Boss Tweed was a very corrupt individual. He knew his constituents were. This is when the massive Irish immigration, 19th century stuff
Okay.
here. Long story short, he knows his constituents were illiterate, so of course he's going to throw papers and documents because his constituents can't read. But until a cartoonist came, started joining the corruption, also exposed them, and then there goes the downfall. It took pictures, the power of
Pictures.
pictures, to take him down because the people got to see what was this guy all about. He thought, oh, he's going out for his Irish, his people, and all that. No, he was a corrupt piece of shit. Since you're swearing, I think I'm allowed to
Oh yeah,
swear as well. And
you could say whatever you want on this pod. Like, I don't. But you bring up, by the way, a really good point because even going back even further, one of the first wars that was photographed was the Civil War. And we don't think about it these days, but to understand being back then, to have the ability to see pictures of dead bodies on the battlefield and see like mass chaos and havoc, that that changes society. It changes the way people see war. People, not government. People. It changes the way that people start seeing things. And I think as a society today, we're a lot stronger than we were 200 years ago.
Hmm. Are we?
In some
I
aspects.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll say some aspects. Yeah, I could agree with that. Some aspects we are, and I think some things I think we are just. I don't know. Then again, we are so well documented, I guess, compared to past, centuries and generations that I think that's why we get to see some of the stupidness and craziness. And me, I'm cynical. I'm one of the I'm not the diehard social media kind of person
Neither am
unless I
I.
use it just for pure research and look at that. That's especially a stereotype strongly pinned into the Gen Z as well. Oh, they're like social media addicts. They chase clout. I said, look, I know some of them do, but I also know plenty that are grounded, that are sane. They're not mentally ill. They're not looking, not chasing clout every second along the way. And just to attack my generation more. My generation to some extent continued that trend or even started it. I don't know. Maybe I'll say the Gen X maybe started that. Yeah, that's more accurate. But we continue that as well. Look at Logan Paul. I think yes, I'm going to use another social media example. I'm going to violate my rules because
You mean the person that
I'm a
had
virtual
the fake
immigrant.
fight with Mike Tyson?
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah,
I
that
mean,
guy. And he was promoting Prime when his girl was supposed to be pregnant. I mean, you talk about cloud chasing in the most tacky way possible, and promoting all that stuff. And the fact that people keep supporting them, I criticize the supporters even more because you gave the green light for this man just to continue to do what he's doing. I said you can't expect a rotten apple to be fresh.
no.
You just can't. Um,
There's
not that I'm perfectly moral, but compared to that, it's like what the
I
hell? I will know not to do
I,
that.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna I'm gonna say something
go
that's a
ahead.
little controversial, which is I think a lot of this push for these viral social media influencers, there is a little bit of mental illness, and I mean this in the sweetest way possible. Where, as an indie artist, it would be nice to be blown up and have all the but to constantly crave that, to constantly have where your life is just surrounded by cameras, surrounded by reporters, by ad agencies and corporations that are constantly trying to grab you. Is that really somebody that you really want to look up to? Is that somebody that you really want to invest your time and energy as your like resource? Especially when it comes to wrestling and fighting, because yeah, there are plenty of incredible wrestlers and fighters, even in the UFC, which they're amazing individuals. They work really, really hard. They're have incredible like work ethic, which I think is amazing, something to learn from. But there's that two side to it as well. You have, like you said, some rotten apples in the batch.
Oh, get into wrestling. Oh, that's something I used to be into. Now I consider that. Let people have fun with that. WWE for me was so nice. If once the Attitude Era was done, I was done with it. I was like, I don't think it's gonna get better after that because I liked the edginess and to some sick degree, I do enjoy controversy. Okay, rocks the boat. It makes things
Yeah.
exciting. So people are pissed off. Deal with it. And sometimes it ironically, it'll eventually make a society better because it just exposes what a lot of people are conditioned to, and we normalize some bad behavior just because a lot of people do, just because the majority does it doesn't make it right. So this is when doing the right thing becomes even more difficult because we are social beings. So do I want to fit in or I want to stick to my principles?
I'm gonna stick to my principles.
Well, that's me for in the yards, but once we blow it up, be big. I don't know. I said this. I might sell out. I might say screw you people. I said, look, I'm getting that check. I already got my goal, and I've been transparent even in my podcast. I don't know. Maybe I might sell out. I don't know. I don't consider myself to be like the perfect example of
No, I'm
morality
not either.
because sometimes I'm a
Yeah.
because I'm a pragmatist. So if I see a practical way to get it done, I'm gonna get it done. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna support murderers and
No, no,
things
no.
like that. Ugh, that's
No,
clearly
you're
wrong. But I'm talking about like more. I'm talking like ethics kind of thing. Just that's probably unethical what you did. Yeah, it probably is. But is there an easier way? And if yes, why the hell you didn't tell me?
no. First of all, you have a great point. Like I can talk even for myself, right? Where I I'm an artist and I do podcasting, but in regards to my career path, I'm currently in vocational school training to be a BMW technician. I am working for BMW. I'm working for a German company here in the United States. And like the reason I'm doing that is cuz A, they pay you better than any other American auto manufacturer. Two, they're small enough that they actually care about you as an employer because they want you to succeed. And then lastly, it gives me the opportunity that I A can be financially stable, I can live my life, I can do this and be able to support myself. I don't have to rely on this constantly for money. You could call it selling out, but I like to call it like a strategized plan that benefits you in the long run.
I know. I mean, you're not hearing that come out of my mouth. I just think you're being
Yeah,
practical, and do I want to say realistic? Yeah, I will even dare say that as well. I believe in being practical about it. I said, listen, I do. I want this. Do I want my podcast particular to be the main job? Yeah, because I
of
enjoy the heck
course.
a lot about it. But I work. I work at a employer. I'm not gonna say the name that goes against certain my values. But you know what? They pay decently well, and I have a roof over my head, and I could still do this on my side, and I'm now figuring out how to make profits off this podcast thing. Before this was just a experimental hobby, and I've been doing this since 2020. Yeah, right before the
Full
whole
blow. Yeah.
bang. Yeah, the whole
The whole cover
you
up.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, the whole the virus that was supposed to be Omega Deadly. Yeah, I'm gonna say like that. Because I was very skeptical. That one, I say I have more right leaning support now. I think that's, so yeah, I do get the skepticism there, but I also get the but I do understand some of the left's point that you don't want to be super careless and get everyone sick with it.
No.
So I was more in the center with that, but I think the people on the right were too careless with that, and then the people on the left were too strict with that. How do you find that fine balance? No, and that's why I got shunned. I think temporarily, let me just say that. I don't want to be too dramatic. Temporarily, I was shunned from both sides of the aisle because I was too liberal for Republicans and I was too conservative for Democrats as independents. So it's okay, yes, wow, I'm really right at the middle. I am isolated in the middle, which to me, I normally would be upset. But I was like, you know what? I know this is where I've been. Even these stupid political tests have got me wrong. They say I'm a bit left, I'm a bit right, I'm a bit whatever. I said I think these political quizzes
It's
are kind of stupid.
it's
They just
literally conquer and divide type of analogy because if I can be an individual that can think freely and have a little bit of a mix of traditional and conservative values and then also be liberal at the same time, why do I have to conform to one narrative? Why do I have to what is so wrong of me having different perspectives? Being able to talk with different people, hearing their side, for example, hearing the difference between an analyst and a journalist compared to a medical doctor or a professional. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you get two really backbone strong ideas. You can create a really strong narrative and an idea of your own thought. This idea of like putting people in boxes, personally, I think it's stupid. It really is. It's stupid.
and I'm going to use this word here. It's going to offend some of you lazy people, you intellectual lazy people. It's childish
It's
too.
childish.
Could be, yeah. Okay, okay. Elias Republican, put him in the red box. Dave's being libertarian, put him in the yellow. Put him in the yellow. No, we all. To be honest, if you splice this up, there's going to be conservatism, liberal, even weird. Green Party ideas. There's certain things I will agree with the Green Party is. Like, yeah, I mean, we want a clean environment. I mean, that shouldn't even be partisan, but the fact that it is a little sickening.
No, it's true.
Anymore,
It's true.
but things like that. So, oh, you're kind of like a Green Party person now. So, well, then I guess I am. Oh well. I'm not gonna change my mind, man. Make you feel comfortable. When it comes to abortion, I think the abortion thing, I lean in the center. I said, there's got to be certain limitations. I mean, if that child's ready to be born and healthy, then I can't support that
Yeah.
much. But that's but people say, oh, how dare you as a man speak up on that issue? So I don't. Look, I don't. I can speak up, but this one thing I'm not gonna do. I will not stop you
Yeah.
because whatever choice you make to abort or not, that's a consequence you have to deal
Yeah.
with,
100%.
not me.
Yeah.
So that's as much as I'll speak my opinion, but I will not stop you either.
Yeah.
So that's that nuance. I said, oh, so you won't? No, I said no. Her body, her choice. I'm respecting that. I'm just being vocal.
Yeah.
She might not. She might like it or not. I don't know. It depends on the woman. I cannot judge him as a
Yeah.
monolith either, because that's inherently sexist.
It's finding
So I like
it's
it.
finding a balance. It's
Yeah.
finding a like it's
Yeah.
finding a balance. Look, I as a gay man that is masculine and definitely working in auto tech, like I don't give like strong gay vibes as people stereotypically like to throw out there. And I don't conform to the whole pronoun thing. Like I am very respectful towards other people that are within the community. I have two friends of mine that they do have that whole pronoun thing. I respect them tremendously. We're very close. You know, I'm they don't get angry with me if I misgender because they're not that's not the whole purpose of our relationship. Our whole purpose of our relationship is that we're friends. We have our differences. We have different things that we may not agree on. That is okay. You know what? I feel like I have to like scream this sometimes to the high heavens. It's weird. I think even especially for the gay community, I'm speaking on this behalf, which is the biggest struggle, is this division, this classist division of boxes and flags is so fucking stupid. It's like we're all in this together. Like we're all in this together. We all want the same things. Why do we have to keep on dividing and boxing and categorizing and folders? It sounds like I'm like a Staples commercial right now because it kind of is.
You know, listen, I should be part of that alphabet because I am asexual. So listen, I mean, people they just can't wrap their head around this. No, I tried the rainbow road. I tried the straight road. Nothing happened.
That's okay.
No
That's
attraction.
okay. That's
Nothing.
you.
And
That's fine.
yeah, I'm aromantic. All of that. I said no. I just don't believe in romance. But if you got romance, good for you. Just don't shove it down my throat because I'm perfectly fine living alone. I have enough. I'm not a lonely person. I go to the communities and all that. I do just fine. I'm a productive person. Do I need a person to live with me? To be honest, I don't, and I prefer it that way because I know I could be a difficult ass on some things, and you know what? I ain't changing it. I'm just not going to change it. Unless you help me out, and then I'll ease up. But if you're just gonna I'm gonna quote for Larry Elder, BMW, bitch, moan and whine. I love that. I took it for him. I don't care. I don't care about your opinion. Yeah, then I'm going to turn to authoritarian dick. I don't care about your opinion. Shut up. One day doesn't apply. He goes, oh, I'm just blah, 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 blah. You're so messy. You're so
You misgendered
dead.
me,
I
yeah,
know.
and all the.
Yeah, all that's the whole woke thing. Don't even get me
I
started.
can't.
You thought I was on the
I
right
can't.
for a
I
second
can't handle it.
because the woke thing is that oh, do you have any gay friends? Actually, I do. Two to or yeah, I do actually. So the fact that you're gonna try to label me as a homophobe, good luck. Good luck, you dumb piece of shit. And I want you to do that. No, double down, double down. Now, I'm in the Big Apple, okay. And this is my street attitude popping
I'm from
right
New
out.
York, so
Right, so
you,
come on, dude.
honey child, you
So
preaching to
wait,
the
this is a
choir.
New
We in
York.
New York right
Yeah,
over
New
here.
York. Yeah, they got New York episode. Yeah. Take that, Cali. There you go.
Motherfuckers, go back to your
No.
hole with Gavin Newsom and suck a goddamn dick in your orgy
Oh.
tent with those goddamn owls.
Oh.
Hey, but but you
Oh
know what?
man,
Honestly, to your
yeah.
point, and I think this is something that I've noticed, especially like New Yorkers. especially like not Manhattan gays, because they're fucking wild. They're a whole other level of insanity. But New Yorkers at a whole, we are people that are raised from the day of birth to get through that goddamn grind. Okay, there's no BS. There's no sugarcoating, none of this. And this is why we get like, oh, we're so mean. Why are New Yorkers so mean? We're not mean. We're pretty sweet and kind people. We're just a little rough around the edges. Like, we'll tell you to like stop being a lazy piece of shit. That's just us. That's what we do. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I think it's kind of nuts that people are like, oh, they're so bad. Okay. Sure. Sure.
No, keep preaching because that is exactly it. I'm not gonna add anything because you just said it perfectly. We're just rough around the edges, and you know what? That's why I could deal with that. And just go back to the whole generational thing. Yeah, I have that smart mouth, sarcastic attitude. Yeah, because I was at that tail end of millennials that had a bit of a rough edge. Compared to the more '90s one. I gotta say there are some of them. I could say some of them, not all, because some of them could keep up with the '80s one. So I'm not going to make this a whole monolithic generational argument. Some could keep up, and some are sensitive as hell. I just gotta say, is that not? Oh, no, no, no! You're not going to tell me how to talk, little bro. I've been in this world much longer than you. You're not going to tell me how to talk. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Was your mother and father that weak? Yes, I will go there. To make you think you could just be entitled? No. Life is a lot more interesting and a lot more rougher than that. So you better develop some thick skin or you will be
Yeah.
destroyed and be mentally ill. You know what? And this is coming from someone who actually has experienced with depression.
Yeah.
Okay. Not that I don't know what that is. I know what that is, but you know what? I choose not to make it my lifestyle. Can depression be conquered? Of course it
Yes.
can. I don't care what the medical terminology, all the other research have said. I only had it for 2 years, and that was during high school. Worst time of my life, actually. Not me being college, not me in my 30s. Even though life is generally harder, I'm a lot more happier and a lot more resilient. You need to develop resilience, and this, not just in politics, but in just in life in general, because you are going to deal with people who's going to come out of left field, not even just rough around the edges. That's mild.
Yeah.
But people who's just going to come at hostile just because they just got a fraction of the picture, while they think they got the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no other. I've maintained my cool, but there's just times that where fists had to be thrown, and I've come out most of the time on physical confrontations because I said, yeah, I may be. Somebody may look at me as a nerd, but I'll consider myself more of a militant nerd. I will pick up a weapon and knock you off if I have to. I that's what I call myself. No, I'm not gonna be one of those like, oh, why you broke my laptop? I said, you want to bring it on, motherfucker. Oh, you bring my laptop now? Yeah. Now you just now I won't even say anything. You're next. I'm gonna say you're next, and then the whole thing goes wild. Look, it's not that I don't like to be projected like I'm a tough guy or anything, but I, to be honest, fighting's my last resort. But if I see there's absolutely no other option,
I know.
then that's why I throw hands, and that's why I can make it a lot longer, but I think that makes it concise, and you get all the general
No,
points.
no,
So yes, so this is New York S.
you bring up something that is very true, and especially like I've lived out of New York for I've lived in LA, and I now live here in South Florida. Hopefully, I'm trying to move back to New York, and you definitely see that, especially like out here in South Florida. I'm in a class of some really bright guys. They are some of the most they have no concept of reality. Okay, they live in this bubble of marry the pretty girl, own a BMW 7 Series, live in Miami Beach, own $1 million home, and they think all of this is going to happen working by BMW. Um, okay, good luck, because you're going to need it. You're going to get your ass kicked. You're going to be in a dealership, and there's going to be a technician there that's going to want to get rid of you. That is going to want to get rid of you, and is going to make sure to make your life a living hell. And guess what? You're going to be a little chummy little sad little boy. You're going to cry. You can't handle it, and then you're gonna get fired because you can't handle the fact that life is not supposed to be freaking easy. You can't just run into things and then expect like you're gonna live this, reality housewives of Atlanta life. It's not real. It's not real. It's not. Nothing in life is like that. And that's something that I learned as a New Yorker is you put your head down, you work your ass off, you get where you're supposed to because you did your due diligence. You had that resilience to be able to get there. That's it. Plain and simple.
Yeah, for all the crybabies that I know you love me, but let's be real, y'all hate me. That's fine. Um, Listen, he's preaching truth right there, and you know what? And that's what changed. You see, ironically, that is what cured my depression. I could stay feeling sorry for myself. I could get back up, be stronger, wiser, more resilient against many curveballs life is going to throw at you.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a choice. What hard do you want? Feeling sorry for yourself, going downhill slowly, or you rather just go through challenges while you might have a chance? I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed. It's definitely not. It's a low probability of having financial abundance, but it's a better shot if you go through the challenges as opposed to just feeling sorry for yourself and doom scroll through social media.
Yeah. And I
Just saying.
I I, I realize this too, where, being down here and being trained, the fact that most of these guys, they don't even think about New York for 2 seconds. They're all busy trying to move to North Carolina or stay here in Florida. We're at this point in 2025, South Florida is double the price than it is in New York City. I know this cuz I came back to New York and I was like roaming around Brooklyn. I'm like, this is not real. This is not real. Like Brooklyn is cheaper than South Florida. How is that even possible? You know, and again, it's again being realistic with yourself where you want to give yourself a real future, right? For example, we're podcasters. And you want to be able to give yourself that opportunity where we are social creatures. We are human beings that need to have some sense of a community. If you just constantly stay comfortable in that couch and don't try to explore, maybe try something difficult like working in a dealership like BMW in New York City. Like, for example, for me, it's a little easy because I'm from New York. I'm no one to talk. It builds something in you. It gives you that ability that once you get somewhere, you could do whatever you want. It is harder to get to that of financial abundance, but give yourself those opportunities. Don't limit yourself.
Yep, because limiting yourself is guaranteed failure. I'm just gonna be brutally honest. Or best case scenario, this is absolute best case scenario, stagnation. Stagnation from where you're at. If I'm gonna be more precise about it.
Right use of
It's
words.
just yeah. But and the only thing I want to just pick up just real quick, if you don't
Of
mind,
course.
like immigrants,
Yeah.
and this is just putting my political hat. You know, I am pro migrants, much as I am pro migrant because good amount of my friends are migrants.
Same.
I will be an idiot, lack of self awareness, just to say, oh, I want the border to be completely closed. What I would say is we need to improve the damn system.
You.
Those who've been here long enough, give them an easy path to citizenship will be a great way to start. Those who are already here, even illegally, let's forgive them, because we
They're
caused some
not all
bad mess, by
criminals.
the
They're
way.
not
We'll
all
get out with you.
criminals. They're not. There's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of immigrants that are in this country that are very hard workers. They're in a lot of different industries, and they're not trying to take advantage of people. I promise you, they're not. They're just trying to do what everybody else is trying to do.
And let me just go 180 for a second. And those that are few and far between. There are gangs and things like that. And that's the only point I will agree with right wing clamp down on those people. But that's not again the vast majority of migrants. And that I'm just gonna be honest, and I even helped on the side, not even as a podcaster or as an office manager in a very political place, how to get their life together. And some of them are so self conscious because, oh, because of my accent. I said, let me just tell you this. If I go to your country, right, as an American, and this person's from Bangladesh, would I have a funny accent? It depends where you're at. We all got funny accents. If I go to your country, you think, ew, this American sounds very weird. Yeah, it's different. So if I was in, let's flip it for a second. If I was in your country, they would think I'm a weird person too. So don't worry about it. You're smart. I understand you. Even with the Bangladeshi accent, I understand you just
Some of the most
fine. I mean, we
wonderful
have good
people.
conversations on that. And look, I've studied some things in your country. Sadly, just like a lot of poor countries, developing nations, you got a very corrupt government that don't care about its people. I get that, but but you, the people, forget your crazy government, for example. Just like you said, I love the framing of that. Y'all make that country. Y'all, you're wonderful people. You make Bangladeshi culture rich, not these, not those evil, government
Yeah.
officials. I would say that because they let the workers burn and died. Over 100 of them died of that, and that was years ago. But I just say, look, and then, you know what? He became a Uber. He passes English test with flying colors. I said, you're a smart man. Stop. I had to be tougher. Stop downing yourself. No, I'll just say get your act together. No, no, no. Stop being such a punk ass, such a wussy ass. No, this one's a stop. Stop. You're insulting yourself. You know what you're doing. We are talking just fine, but I never said, can you repeat that again? I know speaking English. No, there was none of that weird stuff
No.
happening. No, it was flowing conversation. He had a Bangladeshi accent, but it wasn't super thick to the point that it obstructed communication.
No,
It was easy flowing. So a lot of them are they do add value to this country. It is a net
it is.
positive. All right, a net. I mean, by wide margins, net positive. And believe it or not, they're the ones that's keeping the population growth sustainable.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Americans ain't having babies. That's a fact. You can check many studies, and I don't speak unless I have better studies proving what I'm saying. We are probably like at 1.4, 1.5. I forget the exact number. We are definitely less than two because two is the perfect replacement
Yeah.
rate. We're like at 1.4, 1.5. I forget the exact numbers, but if you average it out, it's around there. That we are not making enough babies. Okay, America, just American born people. We're not making enough
No.
babies. Immigrants are coming in, and I said, are you gonna say immigrants are better? No, I'm not gonna say immigrants are better than Americans, but they do add value to this country. They do, and we all
Yeah.
are migrants, even if you're born
Yeah.
here, because everybody's migrant. Maybe except the only thing I give exception to is the native people that we, let's be clear, took this land from. They the ones that claim that the real American, genuine American title, but they've been screwed
They
most of the time and their reservations, and they're the most invisible minority. I've talked about them several
I've
times
had them on my
already.
podcast. I've had
Yeah.
them on my podcast, and I will tell you right now, when it comes to tribes, especially like, I've had the Sac and Fox, I've had the Chimoheve tribe on this podcast. They it's hard to listen to their stories because you're sitting there and you want to relate as much as you possibly can. But then when you have a chief telling you that his uncle and his grandfather and then his father were all murdered in the same room over a no, his uncle, sorry, his uncle and his grandfather, excuse me, were murdered in a casino because they won a game, and instead of paying over money, they just killed them because they could. Him talking about on how him being in Oklahoma, because that's where the Sac and Fox Nation is, how they have to fight with private landowners because they keep on coming into their lands. How am I supposed to relate to that? It's like we are in such different worlds than I am in his. We're what he's trying to do is work with other tribes throughout the country, do powwow events, come to events and try to teach kids about the language and their culture and things. But regardless of all of that, I get to sit here and hear his incredible story and how he's able to make it here in the United States, still continue his ancestry, his story with his kids, post on how his son is able to make like traditional bead necklaces and how so proud of he is of that. To me is the most incredible thing ever. You don't have to always be able to relate to these people or their stories. just being able to be a part of it or be a part of that little bit of that share, I think that's the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we may not be able to relate in the most obvious
Right.
ways, but I think just listening just grants you that exposure. I mean, don't knock yourself down entirely. It gives you that opportunity just to hear that, because I guarantee right now, 99.99% of Americans are not going to get that story. Let's be absolutely clear. You got a diamond, like a rarity. It was like diamond rarity of a story. Okay, not I'm just some hot chick. I banged up with some dude in a casino. That's more of a normal
Yeah.
story than than what just happened, which is very unfortunate, tragic.
It
But
happens.
there is a positive to
Yeah.
that. He is preserving culture, and he lived to tell the story. And so I just think you gotta kind of play with your mental telescope, if you will. Don't Yeah, you zoom in for some details and then you step back out just to get them to form the best analysis that you can. That's why I try to do, at least especially in politics. So that's sometimes almost impossible because you just get snippets. You get the left wing flavor, the right wing flavor, and the center flavor of the story. Well, let me plug in Ground News. Good source, by the way, people. In 1440, I would say Brute America is pretty good as well. I think they report very fairly, and AP. Some people say AP is woke. So shut up. Reuters. If you hate AP that much, go to Reuters. Okay, and
Not true.
it's look. I can understand if you're attacking something like CNN for being too left. I understand that because they are. Don't get me wrong. The Abby, I think the
They
news
have
network Abby
narratives.
Phillips is very
That's the
strict.
thing. This is the thing that
Yeah.
people forget, and like especially even with Fox News, they all have narratives. Okay, we both understand this more than anything else. We're again in the conversation of immigration. We are not like other nations. We were founded under the pretenses as we are the people, which clearly states that we've always had immigration rules. We've always had immigration, like we've had even in the early 1900s. My grandparents' parents went through that. So it's not that we're saying close the borders and lock the key. We just have to be able to figure out a way of allowing our country to continue that way because we have been that way for over 200 years. And obviously you need to have rules and regulations and things, but man, the thing that pisses me off the most is when you have politicians, for example, you have mayoral elections, you have governors that come along and they're speaking on behalf of the immigrants. Shut the fuck up. I'm serious, like just shut the fuck up. You are the last person that should. You grow up in a cushy environment. You don't know what it is to struggle. You lie that you're from the Bronx, but then you're actually from a hamlet in New York. I've been there, actually. It's a beautiful town. But just lies and lies and lies and lies. And honestly, poor innocent people that are like jumping on the bandwagon, like they're not bad people. They're trying to get by like everybody else. They don't necessarily know any better. You're just taking advantage of people for no reason. For what? For clout? For money?
Huh? Power, relevance, all that stuff. I will add more because I'm more cynical. I always think with evil intent, with a lot of both the left, the right, even some independents, some that claim to be independents. Agnes King, just be a Democrat. Shut the
Yeah.
hell up. I gotta call him out on that. Bernie Sanders, I understand because you're too left for the Democrats. I think you're like the real eye in it because you're just too left for the Democrats. But yeah, no, I hate people that use independent and yet you're very partisan. Stop using that label. Just It's okay to be partisan. Just own up to it. Just tell what you want. If you want anti-Trump stories, fine. You go to this person. You want pro-Trump stories, you go to that person. Just be transparent. Just like what CNN said they were fair. I was like, ha 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 ha. See, that's you lost credibility. Fair?
No.
No. But you do provide some left narratives, and you should just market yourself like that.
Yeah.
Then you would have got more credibility.
Yeah.
But you can't. But they can't even do that. And and then of course we got the right wing version. I'm not going to use Fox because Fox is actually vanilla compared to Newsmax and OAN.
Yeah.
Those are like French vanillas. super elegant, of right wing narratives. Okay, but yeah, so I'm just gonna, you're right about Fox. Not gonna discredit that. I'm just gonna use a more interesting example because I just want to and just show
No,
off
no,
how
no.
much I know about this
No,
stuff.
no,
But yeah,
I
but go
really,
ahead.
I
Yeah.
honestly appreciate that. Like, again, this is one of the reasons why when having conversations, it's good to have that expertise and having that different of perspectives because it really allows you to be able to see more honestly what is actually going on. Not just what is being fed, like spoon fed to you. You know, I'll tell you this, right? I had already a few conversations with family members. I'm not going to mention who. Where when I mentioned this idea of going back to New York, oh boy, they you going back there with the election? What are you gonna do? Oh my goodness! Like the city's gonna become even more unsafe. Like, oh my god, it's so dangerous. I'm like, first off, I'm an automotive technician. It doesn't matter if it's De Blasio, Adams, Mamdani. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm always gonna have a job. I'm always gonna have work. That's number two. Number three, I've lived in New York for 18 years. I grew up in New York before Cuomo, and people forget about the governor before Cuomo, the one that was two before, the one that was around 2008 when we had the whole crisis. And I remember in Rockland County and how people had no work. My dad had no work for 2 years straight. And we had the whole entire community, everybody had to come together to figure out a way of being able to survive because people were losing their homes, they were getting foreclosured. Using these fear mongering tactics on people. Come on, come on, you could do better.
Well, especially if you know the experience, it doesn't work.
Well,
It works. But just to throw an opposite point, it works if you have no foundation to challenge it. You obviously have the foundation to challenge it. Then, sadly, fear mongering. That's why it works on masses. Obviously, that doesn't apply to you here. But if I were to say New York is a crime-ridden place for people who lived in, let's throw in random states, the Dakotas, North and South Dakota, they'll believe me and say, "Oh, I don't want to go there." They got nothing to challenge it unless they see movies, and let's be real, movies not a good source of
especially of New
information.
York. Come on, a lot of them are very inaccurate. Like most New Yorkers, by the way, real New Yorkers do not live in Manhattan. Okay, most real New Yorkers, some like this idea of like even like the Anne Hathaway of stories. It's like it feels like disrespectful towards actual New Yorkers. We don't live like that. Most people don't live like that, even outside of the city or in the city.
Yeah, no, and that's why they think every New Yorker is freaking rich and stuff,
No,
especially from the outside. Like,
no.
oh, they have this. I said, no, I didn't know. I will be more than happy to disappoint you. And I traveled to Georgia, and I've tried to debunk their narrative. So, oh, but New York is so cool and exciting. But look, if you want to go there, I'm not gonna stop you. I'm not your father. What do I care? You make your choice at the end of the day. But I'm just giving you my perspective and some of the facts about New York. I just hope you're ready for fast pace because no offense, you ain't moving that fast, honey. New Yorkers will run you over by accident if they're in a
We'll
good
throw a
mood.
coffee
And
at
that's
your
if they're in a
window.
good mood.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
try to
that.
slam into them. Yeah, that happens. That's real.
So, sweetie, Miss Georgia, you need to pick up the pace quickly. Especially once you landed there, you better know because I've purposely walked slow, and that's a great way to piss them. That's a great way to start trouble. Going slow, being intentionally obstructive. All right, and and oh no, that's a great way. And you know what? It even works on me too. One time I had to yell, "Man, we got somewhere to go. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This is not a Sunday morning." Some people looked at some people laughed, and some people looked at me like I was a mad. You can get all kinds of
Oh
reactions. It's New
yes.
York. We're that complicated. But I didn't care. I just studied the reactions later on after I calmed down. And after that idiot decided to wake up and smell the sewage of New York. Of New York
And the
City, not
urine.
sewage, not the
And the
coffee,
urine.
and
The
the
urine is a
urine.
very important smell of New York. Okay. Without that urine, it's not New York City.
Yeah, let's just be clear. I'm just gonna say New York City because upstate. I've been to some towns there. It's a
It's
different
different. It's a whole
experience.
different. It's a whole different environment. I remember when I came out for July 4th, and I went with Shane. We went to Atlantic Terminal. We went to Target, and yeah, I hadn't been in the city for. I left in 2021, so it's been a while. So we went into the Target, and there's a bunch of these punk ass motherfuckers that are like, like skinny young kids or whatever, trying to be cool. And you have to take the cart into the elevator, and I totally forgot this. And I'm like looking at Shane, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we got to take a cart into the fucking elevator? Like, what the hell? And and then the punks, they were like, I was like saying like, oh fucking Jesus Christ, and then all of a sudden like we just stopped talking, we're just waiting for the elevator, and they were just like, awkward. Jesus is not real. We just went into the elevator, and Shane looks at me, and they're like, I don't think they're coming into this elevator. And I, like before the doors even close, I'm like, I don't fucking care. They can go take another fucking elevator for all I care. Like, the hell with them. So Shane, like tried and true Brooklyner as she is, they when we like were checking out, they bumped into them, and Shane just said Jesus like 6 times on top of their lungs, just Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. They were so uncomfortable. I looked at Shane and I'm like, you made my New Yorker heart so happy, right? Because it like that is just a reality, and I think like something that gets forgotten, especially out here in the South, being nice all the time, it's not it's not real. A lot of people will stab you in the. I've had that happen, unfortunately, where I've had people be very sweet to me, and then they'll stab me in the back, won't pay me, won't treat me right, literally throw me in the gutter the second that they have, or literally tell me that they think about me as their boyfriend, even though I'm gay and I'm not attracted to women. I'm like, oh, I'm joking, ha ha ha, I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. No, yeah, no, no.
No, you do bring up something very, 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 very important, and this. Look, this is reality, and I used to be that nice pushover, especially when people say I was being too rough. I used to let a lot of opinions get to me, especially now I am in my mid 30s. If you haven't figured that out by now, maybe you're calculating your brain is damaged. I'm just gonna say it just to be a little nice. However, being nice is not the best way to go, and that's the thing that I don't think the South is gonna get because it's so culturally ingrained, and some of them are phony, by
A
the
lot of them are. A
way.
lot of them are. Yeah.
so, so I mean, I'm not gonna say
Especially
they're.
in
Trust
especially
me.
in South Florida, I would say it's more common than you would think. But yeah, there are. I 100% agree with you. There are places in the South that are not like that at all. They really are like genuine, really caring and warm people. But to your point, like there is that caveat that does exist. Sorry.
No, 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 no. Of course, this is your show, man. But no, I'm saying about. Oh God, relax, unofficial ADHD brain. Just go 10 miles per hour, not 100. Bad habit.
98.
I think
98. Make it a
okay.
little more kosher.
Oh, that. No, to your point, being nice all the time is just a recipe for disaster. You invite disaster, backstab, taking advantage of, whatever you want to call it. It will happen to you because. And then someone had to explain this to me. This is why I watch some tough business people say, no, because if you be nice, you subconsciously giving these other people permission to disrespect you. They see you as weak. They see you as gullible. They see you as vulnerable. I was like, so no wonder I've kind of. That's why no wonder when I introduce myself, I test people right off the bat. Sometimes I come on the most effed up, morbid introduction just to get fakers away from me, and it works 95% of the time, effectively on first try. I just say the most effed up things. Oh, what about you? Do you think someone and this is I did this just to test somebody. Oh, you think someone 98 should be on life support? No, she lived her life. Cut the damn thing off.
Yeah.
Straight face, perfect delivery. I said, wow, you're cold. I mean, yeah, she lived her life. I mean, what the hell you want me to say? And then people started figuring I was trolling. I was being just an asshole. And there's people that believed it right away. I was like, good. I don't want you because I don't want sensitive people in my life. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Hoax exposed right there from politically high tech. But I will do things just to see if you are, if you could take me face value, you're a sensitive dumb bitch, or you're either tough enough just to even put up with that morbid facade I put, or being super or troll or toxic, They'll say, "Oh no, no, no! I just think he's on." Some people, one person catches it. No, I just think he's just doing that. But everybody else fell for it right away. I said, "Good. I don't care about you. 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 I don't care about you." But when I seen to something, you're interesting at least. Not gonna say friend, but you're interesting. That's not. No, 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 no. This is you're just trying to get to first base. No, no, you're not there yet. Not there yet. But you got. But you're running. You're making progress. Everybody else are. Everybody else. They're out. They out already. They're eliminated. They're eliminated. They're eliminated. So that's how I'm. That's how I've been good at picking first. Got to put this weird, unorthodox strategy. And I even picked up for some of the grades too. Like one of my older brothers. I said, you know how you catch a snitch? You give the most unique lie only to that snitch. If you see that spread around, you know who the snitch is.
Yeah,
It
it
works.
works.
These are some of the street tactics. It works. People also, oh, but what about no, no, not what about? I'm a Christian too, but sometimes you got to be tactical.
Yeah.
You got to be tactical. God reads your heart. Okay, Jesus does exist, you punk asses. By the way, you know the high power does exist. So
Mm,
you dumb twig atheist vermin, y'all gonna die, and y'all just gonna and unless you know, but you know, unlike Jesus, you know me, unlike Jesus, he forgives. He'll welcome you once you're ready.
yeah.
That's the truth, and that's the thing I argue with him a lot. I said, but you give these people too many chances, man. But all right,
Well,
fine. I give you chances. It's okay, okay. I just like this little internal dialogue. It's weird as hell,
no,
but you know, but
it's true. It's being able to look like I said this earlier. Like two of my closest friends that I have in New York, we have very differences in politics. We think very differently, but because of our upbringing and our backgrounds, we have a lot of things in common. You know, I have somebody else that I'm really close with. She lives out in Texas, and she's in her 40s. She's been through hell and back. You know, she's raised three kids on her own. And there are moments where she is very hard. But the thing is, I love her very much and I'm there for her because she's a real person. And when she's struggling and dealing with things, I'm not like sitting there like, oh, they're complaining again. I'm like, no, they're being who they are. They show up. They do what they have to. You know? It's two ways, right? Especially in relationships, regardless romantic or non-romantic, just relationships in general. It works two ways. You respect me, I respect you. You understand me, I understand you. That's it.
you know what? I no argument for me. I don't know about the psychopaths. I want to argue this. But hey, you know, you're welcome to. I guess I'm pretty sure you're 1A. Based on getting to know you a bit. My show I'm as 1A as I could be, but YouTube will cancel you, not Rumble. Rumble, you could go as crazy as you want. You want to say I'm a neo-Nazi or you know, or the
Nationalist.
F word that rhymes with maggot. Okay, just you know what that is. You could probably you put that in with Rumble. YouTube. YouTube will cancel you.
Holy
Just
Ro-
saying. Do I agree with do I agree with cancel culture? No, I don't. I don't agree with it. I believe ugliness should expose. You know, ugliness should be shown. People should see what ugly is. People should see what despicable, vicious examples of humanity are. Canceling them, you know, they could just manipulate in some of the people on the right and certain on the left, more on the right, based on what I gather. They have turned us around, say, "Look, I'm a victim. I'm a martyr. I'm a hero to you because I'm trying to fight cancel culture. And I got canceled." You see, they can spin that narrative.
and
No, no, don't give them that. Let them let the ugliness show so you have proof. Instead of, oh, we can't find that deleted video because this person said something despicable. Leave it there. You want to prove that this person is racist or whatever other term you want to throw? Show, you know, the cool kids, show the receipts, you know, and then of course for the traditional people, that's proof. The video is proof right there, you know, and that's why I'm against cancel cultures. But you can't you know, force company. You know, companies are gonna do whatever. I get that, and just don't work for a company that don't. You know, after a while, you should try, and I do emphasize the word try. Try to work with a company that aligns more with your personal
yeah.
values. And I do say try because I'm not saying it's easy, you know. But if you want to be pragmatic, just put up with, you know, the job that pays you will give you good benefits, but you're miserable. You know, that's a choice You make two. I know it's hard. I get it. I get it. Just say you just what's more important to you, your principles or just survival.
Y-
And you could frame this in many ways, but that's all I'm gonna
No,
say. But I could yammer out, I could yammer out
you
for, I could yap for a long
no,
time.
no,
I
you
could
got
yap.
honestly, you touched on something that's really true, and like even what I mentioned earlier, and again, I'm not trying to diss anybody, but unfortunately, Republicans in the past couple of years they have given libertarians a very bad name because a lot of them, especially here in South Florida, they run around and call themselves libertarian. They are mean to people for no reason. They scream their authoritarian demands that they have a right to do whatever the hell that they want. That is not libertarian in any shape or fashion. Libertarianism has nothing to do with politics. This whole libertarian party, by the way, is just a political game. You know, it's this idea and this understanding of being able to stand on your own 2 feet and realize that whether you want to believe in reincarnation or whatever it may be, you have one life. Right now, you're alive. You wake up every single day, you get to see the sunrise, you get to explore for whatever the 16 hours a day that you have. Why take that time and waste it doing things that mean nothing to your own life? They give you no benefit. Yeah, sometimes you need a corporate job in your life. For example, in my case, why should I waste my time for a stupid medical company that will never treat me right? Why should I waste my time with doing something that I have no desire and no passion doing? So you get what? Retirement check when you're 65? Really? Is that really what life really means to you? Is a retirement paycheck at 65?
Nah, people. Yeah, I know. I'm pretending. I'm gonna be like I'm unofficially asserting myself. It's like I'm a second host in a sense. But no, maybe take over. I might take over subconsciously. But no, all the seriousness though. You bring up. This, believe it or not, even though we have jumped and ping pong different topics, but they all have some value and wisdom if you're paying attention, of course. That I cannot judge. I wish I could. I wish I could just get your personal data and say, oh, this one only pay attention to what they have to say, or what lives have to say. Oh, this only pay attention to the negative parts, and just clip it and just say, oh, these people are neo-fascists and whatever other slander you want to
Sure.
throw
I
in
never
there.
never heard
And
of a. I guess a Jew can be a neo-fascist. Hey, it's 2025.
oh yeah, I mean, so much stupidity so much stupidity has grown. I won't be surprised. And at one time, and I am not the whitest person in the world. I was called white supremacist. Like, if you check my DNA, I have some Indian, Latino, and black. You really want to go there? And of course, I'm white too. I'm a multiracial person. But if I'm a white supremacist, that
that
okay?
that
You're
that
right.
term
You're
that
right.
term. I I want to just like I would love for people to like literally sit down and understand what a white supremacist is. Okay? Like, for example, for myself, right? You have people that run around and I've had this happen to me many times. They're like, "Oh, well, you I experience white privilege." Oh, I experience white privilege. I'm half Moroccan. It's like I'm African. And like most of my ancestry and history is from North Africa. Like why these terms are just so diluted and so demeaning. It's like you're taking even yourself like you got this whole melting pot of culture. So am I. Why are you diluting me? Why am I that's all I am. Is white, or black or Hispanic or we all have a unique part of us, our story, our families, our parents, who we are. We're not one thing. Most of us are not one thing.
I'll try to tell that to an idiot. They're just gonna look at you. Oh, okay. Well, Dave looks white, so he has white privilege. Oh, he got a comfortable life because he's white. I mean, that's
It is
racist. I mean, you
racist.
want to fight racism? If you want to fight racism with more racism, You do that on your own, and this is why I've criticized those woke morons. And all. This is why I left the Democrat Party. Once I saw this is growing, I said, "No, I'm done with this." I was Republican only for 2 years, and then I became independent. I say, even y'all are batshit crazy with your points of view. So I'm an I. I've been an I ever since Donald Trump won this first nominations. Oh, okay, you know what? I'm an independent. Fuck this. Fuck both of yous. I gave y'all both. I mean, I always been a moderate a Democrat. Even when I was 18 when I was first able to vote. Because I said, oh, you progressive, right? I said, what? Because I look young to you. I do believe in some traditional stuff. There's a reason why these traditions last for a long time. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay. I forgot what this person said, but it was something stupid. I said, okay, okay. So you want to try to act older? I got it. Ain't by acting older. I was going by what I think is right. No, if you want to think I'm wrong, debate it. Instead of just calling me names, but you call me names, I don't give a shit. You're an idiot at the end of the day. But yeah, calling you and even Latinx. I mean, that's so stupid. Most 99% of Latino people, except for those the 30 who are brainwashed by the woke virus. I don't care if it's right. I don't care if I sound right wing to you. They use Latinx. Most of just throw that term out. Good on the Latino community for that. That's such a stupid term because they try to create like a more like a gender neutral. So no, it doesn't. It's not compatible. You're trying to put wood in a metal set. It doesn't make
It doesn't make any
sense.
sense. There's
All these terms. Like white supremacists. I was even called. I said, listen. I said, if I get tan, I could get tan easily. I could look like I came from even a nation where there's a lot of dark skinned people. It doesn't always have to be Africa people. You're racist if you think that. There's Caribbean countries have a lot of dark
Yeah,
skinned people
especially
too.
Haiti.
Oh, and even America.
Haiti,
Yeah, Haiti,
Rotan.
yeah.
You have Trinidad and
Yeah.
Tobago. Especially Barbados is a great
Yeah.
example of this. Very
Mm-hmm.
dark skinned people.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're still calling me white supremacist. All right. No, don't go right. Guy. Oh, the only thing I would disagree with you change these terms. Privilege is fine. Because privilege, I can understand. There are people that have lived
Yeah.
privilege. And this is going to ruffle some feathers. There is even dark skinned Asian and Latinos that have lived in privilege
Man,
too. It's
hello.
not
We're
always
from New
right.
York. Koreans, they
Yeah.
they run dry cleaners and nail salons like it's nobody's business. And guess what? If I work in BMW, guaranteed, they own a lot of those BMWs coming in for service. I'm not giving any discredit. Like, they are really hardworking and wonderful people. Like, my God, one thing I miss about New York is actually decent dry cleaning because they actually do a really great job and they actually care about what they're doing. But come on, people. There are many immigrants and many different groups in this country that are very privileged. Very privileged. They live a lot better lives than me and you.
Yeah. I will definitely say that. Even though I feel a little shame, but it's actually the
It
truth.
is. Yeah.
But yeah, but they are just they come with this relentless work ethic, ambition to get it done. They feel like they gotta prove it to themselves, and they just say, "Look, this is a great opportunity. Go for it." That's what's keep that drive going. People born in America say, "Oh, I gotta figure out what I want, then I go for it." Some we kind of to some extent America's a bit more passive.
Yeah.
That's been the downfall. I mean, even me to some extent was well. There was times I was just no, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that whenever. That procrastination thing. It's what's actually hurting us. And we should be as passionate, as ambitious, and as relentless as migrants instead of being to some extent, I agree with this. Spoiled little people who just love to doom scroll and I watch, smart TVs. Look, I'm not even tech the boomers and the X. You know what you watch. You got your cables and all that other stuff. I ain't gonna go there. The majority, the big generations are the millennials, Gen Zs. We the ones that gotta pick up the pace, okay? And I'm not gonna go Whoopi Goldberg say you gotta work harder. I get it's tough,
Work
but
smarter.
this can Yeah, I actually like that one better. Yeah, if you could work smarter, do that because time is limited, and just be wise about it. And that's all I can say about that. Be wise with your time because time is
It
limited.
is.
So work smarter is actually, it's even better than work hard. Well, if you can't work smart, then work hard. That's it. Just find your way. You use your strengths. You got to utilize your strengths. Because some people could work like oxes, and some people work as intelligent as owls. Okay, you just find your strengths, utilize them, and just go through. Know what your strengths are. You're not a worthless person. You matter. Even though I disagree with you, even though I think you're a crybaby, but I will not call you a worthless person. I just disagree with your personality and who you are. It's more of a personality clash. I don't hate you as a human being. Some of you might not believe that based on this conversation,
That's
but
true.
I actually did. But I care in a very unconventional
Yeah.
way. Sometimes I don't show emotions because I've been trained to be hardened. And I think that's the part I
It's the
think
New Yorker
I
in
kind of
you.
regret picking up. Yeah, it's
It's implanted. Like they shoved it up our ass so hard. Like it's gonna be very hard to get that out.
I will definitely have to move to a different state. Maybe Georgia will undo some of it, but then again, there's a saying: you could take the person out of New York, but you could never take the New York out of them. So I think that's true because even in West Virginia, I was there for 2 weeks. I was as New York as I could be. I was too loud. I scared half the people there. I was like, what? I said, how you doing? How you doing? And I didn't realize how loud I was, but New York is so common, you get so desensitized. So they did that. That's normal. But freaking West Virginia, every time I say something like hello or whatever, they jumped up. They jumped up and said, what? And I even one time went with this whole racial victim thing. What? Because I'm not white? You think I'm a criminal already? Well, what is this? And I mean, the state is literally
It
95% white, and
is.
you see white people more than anything.
I
West Virginia. Oh, and a few blacks and Indians and Latinos, but it's like finding a rare Pokemon. I mean, we'll use a Pokemon analogy on how rare the minority is in West Virginia. Yeah, West Virginia is a good state for that. Oh, I found a black person. Yeah, that's a rare.
yeah. Put him up on the
You know,
stage. All right, going $5.
yeah,
Five, going
yeah,
once, going
yeah,
twice.
yeah, yeah. And I think I said something a little crazy. I would have fed West Virginians, but I think it's but
It's it's
I
just a real it's a reality
yeah.
check in the sense of where again, New York is not the only place in this country that's like this. But I think what happens is that people become desensitized in the sense of where I'm gonna go back to this whole thing again with like being in New York and being around New Yorkers and sitting in a comedy, like a comedy show and hearing comedians going up and then making political jokes and then them not responding collectively. That just shows how the culture is. It doesn't mean it's regardless of who you are or what you are as a person. The second things start hitting shit starts hitting the fan, everybody kind of is in the same bubble. In a sense, like okay, let's put our things aside. Like okay, this is all going to affect us. This is all because New Yorkers they like political jokes. Like that's kind of it's like a number one thing. We're always making political jokes. It doesn't always exist everywhere. You have even like in Virginia where these are these tight knit, sometimes very Christian communities. You don't say certain things. You don't talk about certain things. You don't discuss certain things. You don't veer out and go to certain places. It's different, a different mentality and different environment. To each their own. Some people that's what works for them. Church every Sunday. Other people, not so much.
No, I love a good political joke, and South Park just keep up the great work. By the
Please,
way,
more Osama bin Laden. Like, we can't do any more Osama bin Laden jokes. Those are all dead, but they were good when they were lasted.
yeah, yeah. For
The Saddam
sure.
Hussein ones,
Oh,
sleeping with the devil. Oh, I have those on my
yeah.
playlist on YouTube. Come on, man. That's what keeps me going.
No, I mean, look, I mean South Park. I think if I ever do another, when I do another podcast, it's probably gonna be based on South Park. That's one I could just talk about for ad nauseum. Maybe to the point that people just get tired of me talking about South Park, because it's funny. I was never a major South Park fan. I used to be more on Team Family Guy, but by the time I thought about my values and listened to them with an open, critical mind, and no, actually doesn't even make sense with a realistic, critical mind. South Park withstand it. I assume that's ballsy, gutsy, even political jokes bashing both sides of the aisle. I say, you know what, that actually, I vibe with that more than Family Guy. That's just left leaning, random jokes, some hit or miss. I used to be a big Family Guy for that, but South Park won me on, especially when he bashed Family Guy. So you know what, you want me as a fan? Family Guy lost because they never got back at them. Which that's a big L
I
for
mean,
them. And I
CBS. I
was
think CBS recently purchased South Park for like something crazy, like $1.4 billion, and I'm just like,
uh,
wow. The organization that literally tried to cover up their tracks for years of being, they're the good guys. It's CBS. And now you're buying one of the most dirtiest, most grungiest adult cartoons, like TV shows. It's kind of ironic, don't you think?
but one could say they're evolving. They're
I mean, like Pride
evolving.
Month, where everybody starts having rainbow flags. Uh huh.
Oh, no, I really don't give a shit about CBS. If I'm going to be honest, if they go downhill,
Good
look,
riddance.
South Park, you'll be fine without them. Yeah, not even just them. If a lot of these mainstream channels go downhill,
They are.
CNN, I don't know. Yeah, they are, and but when they're pull the plug, when they're dead, so to speak, I won't miss them as much. But I don't know, but keep some of them, transfer the Abby Night show thing, because I love it when people are pissed off. I love that. Well, Piers Morgan, he's already online, so he's safe. Even though I disagree with his take sometimes. This thing with Piers Morgan, he's like a hit or miss. Sometimes he's really brilliant, and sometimes he's stupid in some of his takes, especially like geopolitically. I think he has horrible, immature, childish
Especially,
takes. Oh, we the Europeans, Ukraine, they're the good
especially when
guys.
it comes, especially when it
No,
comes to the
yeah, go
automotive
ahead. Yeah.
industry. I want. He had somebody that came on from the automotive industry a while, I think a couple of months ago, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Pierce, can you please shut up? Just let the expert speak. Just let him talk. Let him finish. Just just interruption. He doesn't understand anything about the industry, and like it's
Oh, so what's his question? Oh, but can a car drive from point A to point B? And then he's trying to get to the answer. No, but can it, drive? Can the car get you to point A to point B? I say he's
he
answering the
is answering the
question. If you
question.
learn how to shut the fuck
Yeah,
up, you will get the answer. No, that's a very valid criticism, and I'm sure we're not the only ones that realize that. I mean, some of the comments are saying, "Pierre, shut up! I want to hear what the experts have to say. I can hear you in a lot of these other episodes." It's like, thank you. You're a very base commentator. Based. Thank you. Yes, I'm using cool terminology. I caught up with it. I think I mastered like 70% of the Gen Z terminology, and this is just for me, just to freak them out when I pick, just to scare them more. I said, "Oh no, he knows what you're talking about." Yeah, but the only thing you could keep for sure is Skippy Toilet. I want nothing to do with that. You keep that
I
crap.
don't
That's
even know.
Gen
I
Z.
don't even
That's
know what
super
that
Gen Z.
is. There's some terms and
It's a
stuff like I'm like what, like skibbity. I'm like skibbity what? I'm like, like I have to have like I kid you not. Like I have even some of my classmates here talking to me about trends or they're talking. I'm just sitting there like yeah, and like my brain is just like what are you talking about? I don't have the balls to ask because I'm not even interested. I'm just sitting there like cool. All right. And I have to like Google this or something. I just got to chat GPT and like do a little bit of research or something. I'm like, oh, I really just wasted 10 minutes figuring that out. Okay. It's beautiful.
Yep. And you know what? It's
It's
non-refundable. That's the
not
best part,
refundable.
right?
Non refundable. My
So,
God.
that's the most fucked thing about time. Once it's wasted, it's just wasted. That's why I get more mad at wasting time even more than money. Money, if you find a way to make more, yeah, you can recover. But time is just fuck. I can't get those minutes
Ooh.
back. Oh well, what do I do? So I think that's why I get really upset easily. Especially when I had to curse out a few done show, not curse out, but tell them off the email. So listen, look, if you keep ruining my time, as I appreciate, I think that rule you put about that cancellation at a certain time. So yeah, that's why I wholeheartedly agree. Like yeah, even if it's inconvenient for me, I say yeah, because that's one of my principles. I try to be respectful of my time and the other people, other people's
Yeah.
time. I try to be, and you want to be respectful for that. But since we like to use this weapon of mass distraction, I'm taking that from somebody. We lose track of time, and people, it's funny. We got better communication tools, but our communication skills went downhill. Ain't that ironic?
Yeah.
Because we just outsource everything to the damn phone. I mean, I could rant about internet and all that for a long time. It's not like an angry nerd, but I think the best thing I don't feel bad about because people find comedy ironically out of it because it's truthful and and sometimes hits too close to home. I get that, but you know what? I don't care. We gotta ruffle some feathers. And look, even though we talked about culture and I mean, even various political stuff,
Immigration.
but especially with immigration, yeah, to have a nuanced perspective on immigration
You
because I don't want a closed
you would
border. I don't want a wide open
you
border.
you would
I want a smart
you would
border.
be
Yeah.
very surprised about how many podcasts, like how many times I've had interviews with people. I'm not going to give any names, and we bring up the conversation immigration, and they've gotten very hostile with me because they think that this some privileged individual and don't even bother to ask about the fact of how my dad struggled coming to this country, how my dad worked really hard to try to put food on the table and take care of us, and how he really pushed for all of us to truly have careers and have somewhat of a future. You think they bother to even ask these? You think they bother asking you any of these questions? No. But the way that we have these conversations, Elias, is being able to, people such as ourselves, as podcasters and as artists and as content creators, open, genuine conversations. We both have our own stories, we have both our own experiences. And it's important to raise awareness about these things because it matters to us. It matters to people around us that we surround ourselves with on a day to day basis. We're not trying to, shut anybody down.
No, well, I probably gonna attempt to do that. If you can't have a conversation, just shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. Just don't go to your fucking corner because we don't need you.
No.
No, it is not just for those who are super pro immigrant, far lefty losers. This is for the far right that want to close off the border too. No, fuck you too. You're part of the problem. The
Can't
extremes are
close
part of
the
the problem.
we can't close the
I
border.
would be happy. I'm happy to challenge the extremists on both sides of the aisle. Y'all both of the fucking problem. Oh no, no, no! You white, you privileged. You don't know what immigrant experience is all about. Have you forgotten that it could be a child of an immigrant? Have you forgotten that somewhere along the lines, someone migrated here?
Yeah.
So even someone who was born here could give you indirect, secondhand, secondhand accounts. I would say probably more in your case, secondhand account, because even though you didn't have the whole immigrant,
No,
perfect experience
my
according to
dad
these
dealt with
lefties.
all that shit. Not me. Yeah.
So so you see, if they were real genuine about their goal, they should have aimed. They should have talked to you, talked to your father about that experience. If they were really genuine to learn what the hell he had to go through just to, become legal in
Yeah.
America. What struggles he has to go through and what are their successes. But no, so it's just, oh, Dave looks white. He's the enemy. No, no, no. And that's why some people even get mad at me. So why? I said, why are you giving a pass? I said, I'm not giving pass. You know how many? So you know how many people have questioned that we're white on their silliness, and I'm gonna call out one guest, which I gotta give him credit. He was very graceful in dealing with my. I'm not skeptical right away, but He's trying to teach Bronx kids about no romantic love through a die. I told him, look, this is the Bronx here. We some tough people. You think this is gonna work? I came with skepticism and even bashing the idea. Not him as a person, I was bashing the idea. It's okay. I roll a die and oh, food. Yeah, can I expect free food? I was even being an ass in that interview, and because I was criticizing the idea, but he said no, it works. I said I want receipts on that because I know the Bronx. I was raised in the Bronx. Okay, I knew the Bronx. All right,
No,
and
the
so
Bronx.
I mean they care, but that's not the first impression you're gonna get most of the time.
It's
Okay,
an immigrant borough.
you
It's
talk
an
about
immigrant borough. I mean,
right. I
I
said yeah,
honestly, when I move back, like I want to move to the Bronx. You know, and the sense of the sense of the fact of this is where that is the last place you want to start dissing immigrants. That is the last place you want to get into because you got some really hardworking individuals. You have Puerto Ricans that have been there for generations. They are some of the most wonderful, some of the most incredible people you'll ever meet. Like, you don't want to mess. I promise you, you don't want. That's the one borough you do not want to mess with. Hell nah.
yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, and Spanish is a very big
Yeah,
part of
it
the Bronx
is.
because for obvious, and not just the Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Hondurans, El
And the
Salvadors,
Haitians, yeah,
you
yeah.
could fill in the black,
Sorry, not Haitians,
Haitians,
Jamaicans.
yeah, yep,
Sorry, Jamaican. Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah. There's
a
a
little
few
bit of
Haitians,
Haitians.
but they're more in
Yeah,
Brooklyn. Yeah,
a
yeah, a
little
little
bit.
bit. Like sprinkle, you're not wrong. Yeah, like sprinkle them. Jamaicans, yes.
Especially like Belmont, especially
Recently,
like Belmont area. You got more like a Jamaican crowd over
no.
there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very immigrant oriented kind of place, and I don't know. I think the only place you kind of get away with that is Staten Island, not to bash you, because you have more.
More money,
You
a
got
lot more money.
yeah, and y'all tend to be quote unquote. And I'm gonna put this in quotes. Pro America. That's the right wing
You got
propaganda
to
right
take a
there.
ferry.
Pro
You got to take
America.
a fucking ferry wherever you want to go.
I mean, some people make this constant joke that, oh no, Staten Island is part of New Jersey. We got Jersey City as a fifth borough, which is
It's
it's so fucked
it's
up, but
not.
it's
No,
hilarious, and I
you
love
live in
it.
New Jersey City. You are from New Jersey. I'm sorry. Like that is no. It's like you either live in one of the four boroughs or that's it. There's no fifth borough. There's four.
The
Choose.
oh yeah, and that, oh that, yeah, that's a yeah, no, Staten Island, yeah. I mean, the state for Staten Island is so hot, so high. And I'm gonna use the cool term. We will use copium just to try to include Jersey City as a fifth borough. It's hilarious. We all know geographically, if you have a brain, functioning brain, of course, that it's part of New Jersey. People, not not part of New
New
York.
York.
Even though it's very convenient to
Not
get
New
there,
York.
it's even easy to get there to Staten
It
Island,
is. It's a
though.
lot of you just hop on the PATH train and you're right there. But
Yeah.
that's why you know what I think also like to end off on this, which I think is really important. It's the fact of being able to understand of where you're from and being able to sit across the table and being able to have that conversation of being open to hearing somebody else's story in the sense of where it's not just Manhattan. You know, there's all different types of flavors. There's all different types of stories. Not every single immigrant in New York has the same journey. They don't have the same anything. Like everybody's has their own. You know what? Kudos to the people that are able to live in the Upper West Side. Like I have nothing wrong with people that have money and they're able. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're able to be successful and be able to live really well in New York. You know, why criticize those people? You know what? Maybe some people really worked really hard to get there. Like they're not all horrible people. I've met some really amazing people in the Upper East Side.
Yeah, that why I bash. I call out more on the left, especially the progressive wings of that, because they seem to have such a disdain for people who are successful, which I disagree with.
What's so wrong about it?
I've met some. I've I'm at the middle class bracket, okay, but I talking to people who are economically better than me, so I don't mind. I see him as a human
Yeah,
being, and believe it or not, this is gonna be a newsflash for those of you who think all rich people just got it very easy. They got their own freaking
yeah, they
struggles.
do.
Okay, and I've talked to some of them who are, a few of them that lives in, Morningside Heights and all that. That's money area, And, it was a nice area. I did sat there for a part because I think I am part of two political organizations. One that focuses national, local. The other one focuses on state and local. And just be real brief. Braver Angels, I think it's a good organization. Just try to get people to talk from different
Sounds
political
familiar.
orientations and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, they all over. They each. Yeah, some states have more chapters than others. Yeah, it's a big one. Florida, they got their own
I'm not even
chapters, all
going
that.
there.
But
It's,
yeah, it's probably gonna be.
it's too
Oh yeah,
complicated.
no, no, I.
Oh, it's too complicated.
I think the fight is between the moderate Republicans and the MAGA Republicans. That's where the real fight is at over there. But yeah, no, I'll just say like for the New York, it's more the moderate Democrats versus the progressive Democrats. That's where the big fight is at, the intra ten fights, which are I would say very interesting to say the least. Some of it's just laughable, but yeah, I would say yeah, that's something that this is something I would never. I don't believe in force talking people. All I can say is look, check it out if you want, and if you don't, you don't. That's, you got your reasons why you want to or not. I'm not gonna question.
Right.
Who the hell am I? The private investigator? I don't care that much. I really don't. I just say, look, if you're looking for something like that, if it fits your personal agenda, then you just go for it. If not, then oh well.
Yeah.
Then the other one that's very state oriented, Unite and why. I mean, duh.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very state oriented. We try to push more laws to increase voter accessibility. The Democrats bitch about voter accessibility, but yet they the ones that are obstructing it in New York. Yeah, let me call you out on that one. New York Democrats, New Jersey Democrats.
especially
I'm calling you out
especially
on
with
that.
what they're pushing right now, which again I feel like it's very un-New York. You know, and in the day, it's a big city and it's a lot of people. It's a lot of pressure. You can't expect just somebody growing up in Astoria that just thinks he has a big idea and big visions to be able to handle this. You know, obviously, like I wish him the best of luck. He's gonna fail. Maybe a year. It might be a year and a half. He's going to fail because the same idea of like right, even in the Bronx, where you have South Bronx, you have East Bronx, you have West Bronx, you've got Kingsbridge, you've got Riverdale, all these different communities in one borough, all doing different things. Some are more, like you said, middle class, you have the more upper class, you have more of the lower class, which, to be honest, more South Bronx these days than anywhere else. But you have that council and community, people such as yourself, which are able to understand the differences of people, understand the differences of needs of people that are around those environments. And it doesn't make you better than anybody else. It's the fact that you know where you're from. You know that community through and through. And I think especially for you as a podcaster, I think this is something that's really important. You're able to speak out, be able to make these episodes, push out this content because you have that level of experience. You have that ability to put yourself out there and have these conversations because you have the common knowledge base to back it. That's it. It's that simple. Am I wrong? I don't think so.
Oh no, well, let me just drink the podcast Kool Aid. So you're absolutely right. No, but seriously, you're right though. You're right though. They're not making it to a cult thing because all it's now is oh no, these podcasts are cults. No,
No.
no, MAGA's a cult. The progressives are a cult. Okay, they cults. Not us podcasters. I mean, some of us are gonna it's even okay. And this is why I always push. And I always got to scream this verbatim. Disagreement, having different opinions does not equal hate or an attack.
Right.
But people just don't know how to have to. And I have counter different opinions. People that challenge my ideas, and sometimes they won me over because there was blind spots. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. That's a blind spot. Good point. I'll take that. And I'll take it as a loss or compromising. You just call evolution. You get your opinions can be ironically modified just based on getting your blind spot exposed and and take care of your shortcomings on a particular topic. As opposed to, oh, let me just use Dave as an example, so she just make me a little more convincing left. Oh no, Dave's attacking me because of his whiteness. He thinks he's better than me and all of that. So no, no, no.
No.
And I love how people try to speak to me with race. I said, no, 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 no. If you're to put Latino people, migrants, as a monolith, there's something clearly wrong with you. You're either intellectually lazy, and that's the best best, mildest insult I could give, or you're really prejudiced. You're xenophobic. And I rarely use those terms, but you
Close-minded.
really push me to there.
Yeah.
Yeah, close-minded, bigot, those kind of terms. I rarely use those, but if I'm pushed there, then yeah, that means it's getting nowhere. And I've been questioned. So, are you are you homophobic? One podcast asked me that. I could have chosen to be offended. All that. I just said, good question. I can see where you're coming from. ABC, and then I debunked that narrative easily. And I was prepared for it because I came with my own gotcha questions. And that's one of them that popped up. You got to be prepared for
Of
these things
course.
because not everything's going to be rose and
Oh
daisies,
no.
people.
Oh no. Oh no.
You
You,
know,
you expect to walk into some of these interviews and expect it to be roses and daisies? You're in the wrong
no.
industry. This is not the place.
Mm.
You'd be surprised. You get guests that come on and halfway through, we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. Okay? Half the shit you just said the past 10 minutes, I can debunk it in like 2 seconds. And then there's the shut. I had a returning guest that came on. Immediately politics, and this is my famous thing that I always say: we have more things in common than you think. Yeah, I think we've talked enough about politics. Can we wrap up the podcast? Wow, that's what happens. The second it becomes, oh, so you're not one of us. You're not on our side. What side? Like, what side are you referring to? We literally have more in common than you think we have. That's the craziest part.
Why so fucking entitled?
Right.
That's nothing. Why like you see? I can't stand it. I'll bash the left and the right for that. No, 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 no. I push back on the right on something. I push back on the left on something. I'm an independent. I'm gonna tell you straight. If you can't handle me, just let me know. I'll be happy to cut it off. And you know what? For those people who are babies, and I think I'm gonna have people sign the thing. If you sign the thing, if you're a baby, I will expose you because you need to be accountable for your childish bullshit that you just pulled out. I'm gonna start having
Full
some guests
colors.
even.
Full colors.
No, it's no, and just post that episode out. Oh, this ended abruptly because of blah 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 blah.
That's
That's
it.
it. Yeah, because these people need to be held account for such childish behavior. Don't be on the podcast if you're gonna keep pulling this bullshit. It's complete
It is.
bullshit. Okay, and I no, I have zero respect. People on the right has done it. People on the left has done it. Even a few in the center, they have done it. No, I don't respect you. I don't even some hosts have cut it short, and the best one I could say is News Nation, and I got criticized Leland Vittert when he cut off the interview short with a Democrat operative. I didn't agree with his frame. He said, "Oh, this right wing news channel. No, it's censored. Shut the fuck up." Leland Villard was not even ready for that interview, and he just cut it short. And all that. Stuff. No, 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 no.
Go with it.
Just pivot a bit, see what he's saying, and get to the media gritty. No, but you just cut off because he just refuses just to pivot. You just want to be stuck and closed-minded and be stiff-necked about it. I said, no, I criticize both parties on
Yeah.
that one. Leland Villa, I think he leans a little more to the right. I think he's like center-right. His politics, let's be clear, they got the left and the right
Mm-hmm.
represented, I would say, decently well in News Nation, and that's, in the Hill, those are the most centrist sources that we
Uh huh.
got, but even they got their
Mm-hmm.
biases. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cuomo, still pretty left. Bill O'Reilly, you already know where he's at politically.
Uh huh.
Stephen A. Smith, I would say he's the most politically scattered. Sometimes he's on the right and left. He's a wild card. I kind of like those. I ain't gonna lie.
It's
I
like
like those.
Uno.
That's an
I love that
interesting.
car. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
car whenever you get it in Uno.
yeah.
It's
That's
amazing.
I'm
It's
red. Yeah, he's gonna be red. I'm blue. Along the way, I like political wild cards. They make things
me too.
interesting. Even though I would say he's minimally Democrat only just because he ends up voting there. Even though his analysis is he's all over the place. He sometimes seems like he's agreeing with the right, the center. So stop with this progressive guy. This is America. This is not gonna work. It's crazy talk. He's entertaining to say the least. I gotta give him that. I don't agree with him everything, but he is entertaining. Stephen A. Smith, and I like it when him, Cuomo, and Bill O'Reilly get.
It's
It's very interesting.
amazing.
These three. these three men attacking each other. All that, I love it. I love it. It's good television,
It
folks.
is.
They don't know me. I'm not getting paid to promote this, but I'll say some good stuff. Especially if you want to just extract the comedy out of this hyperbolic times that we are in, these hostile times that we could find some
Yeah.
joy in that. That's the only reason why I'm bringing that up. And these are people with different, political orientations. So I think I talk more than enough. Unless you
No, no,
wanna
you,
pull me
no,
through.
you, man. I wanted to, and again, like a lot of respect. Like I'm a New Yorker, and I have like a lot of respect for other New Yorkers. Like you coming out here and spending the time and talking to me about this stuff. Like it's important. We were able to cover a lot of things, raise a lot of awareness, and really showcase what it is to be able to have open conversations. Conversations like this is what more Americans, what we should be seeing more in this country. Not the crap and the stuff that we've been constantly be force fed from the media. Because podcasters such as yourself and the work that you do, like with politically high tech, it's important. It's important to get this stuff out there. It gives people the option that if they're jumping on the A train, right, or wherever they are, they get to put on those headphones, listen to something real, instead of wasting their time listening to these other organizations that have zero benefit of having your interest in heart. Um, so question for you. I know you got your podcast. I know you got you're on Rumble. I'm on Rumble too. You got all of your social media. Where can these wonderful people find your podcast and all of your work?
Well, there you go. Finally, the shameless plug-in. And my podcast I always push shameless plugins.
Of course.
I am a capitalist. I'm a capitalist. People, I'm not gonna be a socialist. Oh well. I will agree with certain social list features, especially for those who need it. Let's be clear, like basic wants and needs. Housing, water, food, all that other stuff. But if you want in the socialism get your mansion, I would probably say fuck you, and you'll never get me. You'll never convince me to do that otherwise. But all right, let me. You see, I could go off the tangent.
Lay it out for me.
Focus, Eli. Focus.
Throw the cards on the table.
So, so you can find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. No, I don't give a shit about Spotify. You're not gonna get a response from me. Go to Apple Podcasts. I read those reviews very judiciously. Make sure if you're gonna say I'm great or I suck, put a reason. If you're gonna say I'm great, I'm not paying attention to you. If you say I suck, I'm not gonna pay attention to you either. So I don't care. You're a
Give a
baby
real
to me.
review. We work hard enough that if you're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to spend time giving us a review, put a little thought into it.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I'm on YouTube, especially for the video version of the podcast. It starts at 141 because, yes, I've been doing it much longer than that since January 2020.
In a
Yeah,
minute.
interesting time to start a
Yeah.
podcast. So, but if you wanna, if you wanna pay attention to older stuff, yes, it's locked behind the paywall. From episode one, oof, this is days I was cringe, didn't know what the fuck I was doing, to be honest.
Don't listen to my
To
earlier episode.
140 to 140, it's locked behind a paywall. It's $3 a month. You can afford it if you want. Especially, let me sound like the left. Give your money to me. I demand that money. I'm poor. I'm dying. No, I'm kidding.
Give them
It's really
appropriations.
so.
Come on, cultural appropriations are needed.
No, but I'm also on. I interact on Facebook. I'm thinking about taking down Twitter because I just don't get much engagement. It has become trash, to be honest. I'll try Blue. I'm gonna install an Instagram and a Blue Sky. Oh, how ironic! I know I bashed the left, but I'm gonna see how Blue Sky is. It's like an experiment. If it becomes ass, I'll just leave. That's it. Because Twitter, I refuse to call it the letter. Damn you, Elon Musk! You ruined the branding of Twitter forever. Yeah, I'm just not getting much engagement, and I just don't see the point. And it's crap, and I'm gonna refuse just to pay for features where I can get for free. And other social media platforms. So Elon Musk, just like you say, fuck it, advertisers. I'm gonna say fuck you as well because I'll be leaving at some point. This is the last season 7, where I'm gonna be having it. So that means early 2026.
Kaput.
Vámonos, me voy. I'm out. I'm
Dale.
out. I'm
That's it.
leaving. That's
We're
it.
done.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm gonna also what I'm gonna do is I'll put your links below in the description as well as Rumble, because I have the same problem. YouTube, they're changing around their algorithm, but they have this thing where they have quote unquote like controversial podcasters. They won't push our content out. So to anybody out there, try to give a little bit of support. If you want to watch the video version of this podcast, watch it on Rumble, where we actually get credit where credit is due. And what is your social media handle?
Let me pull that up. How unprepared. There you go. Professional moment, people. Professional moment. Look at that. I was being so good.
Up until this point. Up until this point.
Yeah, I was so. I don't. This is. Look, I don't even care. It's up. This is like genuine stuff to me. Let me go. Let me go check my thing. I was doing so good here. But oh well. I'd rather be real and flawed than perfect and fake. Okay. So let's see. The social media hands for Facebook is Elias Illusion. That was my old fake name, so that's why it's weird like that. And TikTok, which is really Rumble. It looks like it's a TikTok, but it's really Rumble. Yeah, that's I might be on TikTok too, by the way. That's another thing I forgot to say in one of the other.
Well, I'll find it. I'll put it in. Oh, don't worry, I'll find it.
Yeah,
I'll put the link.
No, and yeah. I mean, my Pop Badge profile has all of that actually, so it's all housed in one place. But the new stuff's not there yet, so don't put too much effort into that. That'll be like later 2026, so don't even worry about that.
Got you.
I'll be pushing it. I'll be pushing that hard next year. That's just a little future tease for some views. Join politically high tech. I bring the left, the right, the center, the interesting, the green. I haven't brought a green yet. I like to have a Green Party person. I have a few libertarians on already, so that's a check
mark
done.
right there.
Just to get a green, just to get a now just need like a green or even more left-leaning parties, even worker families party. It'd be great to have one of those on, even though I strongly disagree with one of them. I mean, politically, I'm against her when it comes to like the voting rights thing. Not her, the organization, because they're the ones that love this closed primary crap. So that part we will definitely clash on that. It's like, this gonna be confusing. It's for the big rich interest. The big interest is gonna do this. No, you're rather shut off over 1 million registered independents, and you gotta wonder why more young people are independents, because you don't know why. Because we both are fully aware, and some of them who are elder. Let me just include them as well, because a lot of them are elder. Both the parties suck.
Yeah,
they do. And that's my strong sentiment. That's why they don't want to be Democrat. They may be Democrat on housing, but I don't know. They could be Republican when it comes to business.
Mascots. I mean, they got a donkey and an elephant. Like, come on, bro. Like, there are way better animals that you can choose as a Really? A donkey and an elephant. Out of all the animals you could choose from the animal kingdom, those are the ones that you choose.
You know what? I didn't think too much about that, but I actually agree.
So dumb.
I will settle with a cat and a dog.
That would have been better. That would have been better. Like, at least it's like, okay, like people own cats and dogs. It's like, okay, can I understand that, cat and dog people? Who the hell do you know owns an elephant and a donkey? I don't know anyone that owns an elephant.
That's how we still, some America's still stuck in like 18th century crap. Maybe they were value at that time. I don't know. I don't know who owns the elephant. Definitely the 1%. I don't know one person. And even donkey. Well, that's more easy to own, I guess. Yeah.
That's when you got to talk to your doctor.
Well, it makes sense. The Republicans are arrogant elephants, and Democrats are just normal jackasses. Yeah. So there you go. God. So it makes sense. Oh my god, we're gonna be so canceled.
I know. I love it. But honestly, is there anybody out there, like, I will leave your social media handles and everything below, so just to make it easier for people to be able to find it. And again, man, like, seriously, I really appreciate you spending the time and like talking all this. Like, we have definitely covered a lot of controversial stuff. So algorithm, be weird. We pushed a lot of your buttons. Throwing that out. If you want to check out more of the podcast, you can find us at Lost on everywhere and anywhere else. Podcast. Fuckers. All right. Peace out. Eh.
All right.